Justin. He was born at a local hospital in our area. He was born via emergency C-section and having seizures. It was a lot of fear, a lot of not knowing, and not really sure what was the next step, or not realizing the impact of how much it was going to, impact him.
It was definitely very challenging. We weren't quite sure what we were facing right when he was first born. Tricia and I were both, we could kind of read the doctor's body language, and they knew right away that there was something wrong. And for about the next 6 hours, my life was totally changed with, she had just gone through surgery, so they saw her starting to get excited. I can remember the anesthesiologist leaning over to her and saying, "You need to relax, and you need some rest," and he knocked her out.
And that hospital where he was quickly realized that he was much more involved than they can care for. So that's when he was transferred over here to CHOC, and that's where he spent the first 4 months of his life here.
Coming in here with him and seeing just them take over and start to point out things that as a parent I'm looking, and they're like, "Okay, weak muscle tone." I'm going, what? He's a day old. How do you see that? And just kind of going through that with him, and it was definitely was life altering, and I just thankful that this is where he landed.
When we found out what he had, lissencephaly ARX, we reached out to a specialist out at the University of Chicago, and he said, "Don't expect him to be discharged from the NICU. And if you do, take him home on hospice, because he's not going to live very long." Obviously that is very devastating, and not, as our outlook was, how are we going to get him home, to him saying, "No, it's not going to happen." And that's where the CHOC doctors came in and said, "You know what, we're going to do everything we can." From the nurses to the doctors to the social workers, they really helped us to kind of just hope for the best and let's see what would happen. That's what I appreciated about CHOC, really, the doctors and the nurses and the care staff to really work hard to get him home. About 3 years later, after he was discharged, when he was about 3 years old, we went to what's called a lissencephaly conference. The doctor who I'm speaking of was there, and his whole team. And they met with us, met Justin, and they were amazed. And they were just shocked of how well he was doing, and said, "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it," because he's never seen a child thrive and do well with his condition, because it is so severe.
We don't focus too much on what he can't do. Just we like to focus on what he can do, and it's just powerful to see what he's accomplished. He's setting the bar. He's our little warrior. We love him, we appreciate him, and I think he definitely teaches us more than we teach him.
One of the things that I've been so fortunate with Ryan and Cameron is that they are Justin's biggest fans. They're his biggest cheerleaders, and they truly have made it easy on us as parents, as difficult as it is, to go through everything. And they're so strong and so loving, to the point where first thing they come home from school, they look for Justin and they just want to love on him. They're really an inspiration to me, and to see that, this is what it's all about. This is what family is all about, and I'm very fortunate and blessed to have all three of them.
CHOC really taught me a lot about service, a lot about giving back, and I would say more than anything, it's about making people feel welcomed.
Justin's getting great care. It's really amazing how they've made us feel like they're our family.
The CHOC walk is it's just electrifying almost, like you can just feel it that you're there. It's really cool. I
was overwhelmed and amazed and just completely blown away by the experience. When we were, an hour and a half in, and we're starting to walk out of the park into the next park, and you see people still lined up to come in, it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming.
We started back in 2012 with 9 walkers. It was just a couple of family friends and family that came to walk, and it was our first experience, and so it was a good way to kind of gauge. And I just remember standing there and just getting so emotional, because you can feel the power of love and you can feel the power of support. Because everybody here at CHOC is so welcoming, they make me feel so welcome that when I'm in a situation where I see the mom walking down the hall who's in pain, and I want to just go up to her and say, "You're in a good place and you're going to be okay no matter what it is."